J.R.P テレビよりインターナショナルプレミアムをお届けいたします。司会のアデイトです。そしていつもの素晴らしい世界平和委員会ちょうど院大学総裁です。Today we are again talking with the amazing Sosai Chodoin Daikaku of Japan, and we are going to discuss about the situation of the immigrants in Turkey, where there was a fire, and so the immigrant camp was burned down. And so Sosai Chodoin Daikaku is very worried for these poor people. And he would like to talk to us about this subject.
中東諸国で、1980年から始まっている、アフガニスタンの戦争、そして90年から始まっているこのイラク戦争、そして2000年になって始まっている湾岸だ、また次のいわゆるアラブの春、アラブスプリングの後のシリア、リビアの戦争、これによって大量の難民が発生しました。
So after、the war with Afghanistan that started in 1980s, and after that in 1990s we had the Iraq war, and after that the Arab Spring in year 2000, and then Syria and Libya. So this entire big movement in Middle East, there were many people who lost their homes, their work, so a huge number of people are fleeing their countries because of these wars. And
一番大量に、発生したのは2012年以後のシリアにおける内戦です。シリア。
And so the biggest impact on the civilians happened in Syria after 2012, the war happening in Syria. That is the place where the largest number of people are fleeing their homes and are victims of these wars. And so these masses of people are trying to get to a better place and to be safe with their families and children.
シリアはもう4000年前からチギリス、インダス、メソポタミアの文明がユーフラテスの川に沿って発展して、シリア、今のイラク、そして湾岸の抜けるこの地域は歴史的な遺跡がたくさんある場所なんです。歴史、ヒストリカル、ローマ遺伝の。
So the area where Syria is now, it's for more than 4,000 years ago, was really established in between the Euphrates and the surrounding countries. So the history of Syria and the culture of Syria is very deep and has roots long thousands of years ago.
そして多くの世界から観光客がシリアのいわゆるバビロニア遺跡に見に来てた。
And so from long ago, from the entire world, tourists and people really loved to go and visit Syria. At times it was called Babylon. So from the entire world, people were traveling to see all the artworks and architecture and the treasures of Syria. It was a very famous and admired country.
この歴史的ないわゆるトレジャー遺産を 今まで何千年間民族人々は破壊ディストロイしなかった、守ってきたわけ。
So this culture and the treasure of the land was until now protected by the civilians, by the people living there. It was not destroyed, so maybe other antique temples are destroyed, but in Syria it was very well preserved. And
シリアのリーダー、いわゆるプレジデント、アサドはジェントルマンで非常に、インテリのレベルの高い指導者で皆から尊敬されてました。
彼のお父さんもからで、お父さんの前は誰？お父さんの前は
アサドの前はこれは昔のこれは植民地ですから、オスマントルコという時代、イラクもオスマントルコ、ヨルダンもオスマントルコ、パレスチナもオスマントルコ、今のイスラエルもオスマントルコ、サウジアラビアもオスマントルコ、バレーンもクウェイトも AUE もオマーンもイエメンもみんなオスマントルコの支配下にあって、それをいわゆる一次世界大戦は英国がでもオスマントルコを倒したわけでしょ。
すごい、父は全部わかってるわ。And so Sosaicho the Daikaku is explaining us that actually the Turkish Ottoman Empire was having power over all these Middle Eastern countries, including Syria and Israel. And with the First World War, the British split these countries into countries. And so Syria had this family, this Assad family, the leader, from that time. And the father of the President Assad was also a very smart and well-educated person and very respected. And the leader nowadays, his son, Assad, is also an intelligent, well-studied, and a gentleman. So he is actually respected by his people and in the area.
それを何の理由もなくアサドをやめろと CIA がアタックしたわけ。CIA の子会社のブラックウォーターがバーンとアゲンストいわゆるシビリアンアーミーを作って攻撃しだした。これ全部シビリアンのアーミーというのはブラックウォーターは CIA のサブチダイヤルカンパニーだから、お金をバジェットでソルジャーを雇ってくるわけ。
そうですね。
傭兵という、でいっぱい雇うわけだ。だからいろんな兵隊をアフガニスタンからも連れてきたり、タリバンの一部をいろんなものを連れてきて、その兵隊がシリアの市民だと見せかけてアサド大統領を攻撃しているという、これは本当の市民じゃないし、本当のレボリューションじゃない、作られたレボリューション、外国の力で。
And so, Sosai Chodoin Daikaku is telling us that we did see in TV that there were demonstrations and revolution against Assad, but that was not the actual civilians, not the actual Syrian people who wanted to topple Assad. It was United States CIA and Blackwater, this company, this private company, gathering and paying mercenaries from surrounding countries even, and placing them on the streets to look like there are demonstrations and as if the people of Syria want Assad to step down. And so this was a fake revolution created by United States and CIA and using Blackwater private company to destroy Syria and the leadership.
この時の CIA プレゼントはブレナンという人。ブレナンはアラブの春も計画してプランニングして、シリア、エジプト、リビア、スーダン、みんな転覆する、レボリューションする。この計画をし、ブラックウォーターを使った。でその時に同じアカデミアを使ってウクライナにヤヌコビッチ大統領をクーデターで追い出したわけ。あの地域をみんな同時にスタートさせた。
And so at that time, the leader, the top of CIA was Mr. Brennan, and it was actually his idea to create this Arab Spring, and Libya and Sudan and all these countries that were looking like they're having revolutions. Everything was created by CIA and this Mr. Brennan, and in parallel, they were creating same fake revolutions in Ukraine in order to topple Yanukovych. So it went in parallel, these two countries, to destabilize the Middle East and then to destabilize Ukraine and to make these countries to rely on United States.
その時のブレナン、マケインというセネター、そしてヒラリー・クリントン、バイデン・バイスプレジデントが全部政治的なこのプランナーの中心勢力で、ヒラリー、バイデン、ブレナン、マケイン、このチームでやってるわけ。
And Sosai Chodoin Daikaku is telling us that at that time, a part of this team were Mr. McCain, who passed away, then Hillary Clinton and John Brennan and Biden.
これらの共通点はイルミナティということ。
And this entire group is part of Illuminati, of the Illuminati movement.
そういうことで何の悪いこともしていない真面目で正直で一生懸命シリアのために頑張ってたアサドを戦争の引きずり下ろそうとして一番犠牲になったのはシビリアンの人たち、このピープル、市民なんです、国民なんです。
And in this fight for power over Syria and in this trial by CIA and United States to take down the leadership, the Assad family of Syria, in order to gain power over Syria, the ones who suffered most are the civilians. So many, almost the entire country, the civilians were bombed, as we could see on TV that everything is destroyed. They used to have hospitals and schools and have a normal life, but everything was destroyed and bombed by United States to topple Assad, and Assad being the scapegoat. And so the Sosai Chodoin Daikaku is telling us that this at that time so many civilians are victims of this situation and became refugees.
このシリアの内戦が始まって今までの8年間で おそらく外国へ逃げた人が600万人、6ミリオン。それから国内、国の中で町から山へ行ったり逃げてる人たちが500万人。11ミリオンが難民になってる。まあ、ハーフポピュレーション。
And so, half of the population of Syria are refugees. More than 6 million are trying to escape abroad, and 5 million left the cities and hiding in the mountains and places that are not going to be bombed. So more than 11 million people are refugees, which is a huge number. It's more than half the entire population of this country have no homes and no work and no food, no money, and are refugees.
そして11ミリオンの難民とバビロニアトレジャー遺跡を破壊するという、なぜそういうことを今の時代にやらなければならないのか、私は残念に思います。私もアートとか、美術を、古いものを大事にする人間です。こういうことをしてはいけない。
でそのイスラミックステートがわざと大切なシリアのペトラとかその町をにあった仏壇とか全部倒して壊して、
それはアフガニスタンではタリバンとアルカイダによってそのアート、古い仏像、山の中に作ってる仏像たちを爆発させたんです。何千年前のブダを。そして今のシリアはいわゆる IS というのを作ったのは誰だと。これはブラックウォーターです。IS はもうむちゃくちゃやるわけだから、人を殺したり。それがバビロニア遺跡を爆発しているわけです。むちゃくちゃですよ、これは。
総裁チョレン大学 as you can see, he loves art and treasures antiquities and such objects that have a huge value, and so he is very sorry how these treasures of Syria, of Babylonia have been destroyed, the museums, the old artifacts stolen and sold throughout the world. And so these people of Syria, the citizens who were able to protect their national treasure for thousands and thousands of years, are displaced now and are refugees. And because of Blackwater, who created Islamic State, this Islamic State on purpose is destroying and stealing the artifacts and the culture of Syria. Same thing happening in Afghanistan. All the amazing temples built and sculpted in the mountains that are exploded and destroyed. It's all because of United States and CIA and Blackwater.
その責任は誰が取らなきゃいかんか。誰も取らない。ね、これアメリカ合衆国の中に CIA があって、そしてその子会社で IS が今のブラックウォーターがアゲンストガバメントシリアソルジャーを集める、 IS も作る。しかし誰がやったかわからない、これは関係ないと言ってでも責任を取らなくなって、しかし難民は11ミリオンがで発生しているわけ。これは本当にね、犯罪です。戦争犯罪と思います。
And so nowadays nobody takes responsibility for what happened there. they do not take responsibility for all these treasures and antique artifacts that have been destroyed, the museums, the culture that was lost. But even worse than that, they do not take responsibility for these 11 million citizens who are refugees now. And this is what Sosai Chodoin Daikaku is telling us, that it is a crime against humanity. It is a crime of war, what they did, United States, what they did, and have these 11 million people displaced and refugees and with their lives destroyed.
この最高責任者はオバマ大統領。
And so Sosai Chodoin Daikaku is saying that it is Obama's responsibility.
しかしオバマはノーベル平和賞をもらっている。
でも彼が戦争始まってなくない？彼の前に
彼の部下がヒラリー・クリントンはバイスプレセクレタリー・オブ・フォーリン・ミニスタリーで、ね、国務長官で
でブッシュの時代に
ブッシュの時代はアフガニスタンとかイラク戦争、いや今シリアの場合はオバマになってる、ウクライナもオバマですよ。
And so it started in the time of George Bush, as we know, and it continued in the time of President Obama. And so Sosai Chodoin Daikaku is angry that Obama received the Nobel Peace Prize, despite the fact that the situation wasn't solved and that nobody took responsibility to help these people and finish the disaster in Middle East.
はい、ここで一旦終わる。